Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM, hits 103.9 FM here in Accra, also on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com, live in all 16 regions of Ghana via various affiliates, live on X Spaces and Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. Coming up this afternoon, about 5:15 high-risk Galamsey sites found to be threatening Ghana's gas pipelines and power supply.
Galamseys are very active in the western region. Our pipeline, western region, Forestry region, these areas are areas we are battling. Some of these operations are very harmful to the operations of the pipeline and can become real threats.
We bring you details as officials warn of widespread outages and disastrous explosions which can wipe out entire communities if the lines are tampered with or ruptured. Also, Cybersecurity Authority grapples with a high attrition rate which has been blamed on low staff salaries, as the Chief Executive Officer adds that he too is poorly paid.
Even me, my salary is not good. I don't even know how much I'm taking yet. Our staff keep leaving us.
Also this afternoon, we take you to the streets of Accra, where beggars arrested and deported to their home countries have returned.
The government deported them, but they have found their way back in. Officials stationed at various borders must stop taking bribes from them at entry points.
We'll hear from Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, which is raising alarm of a growing number of street beggars, saying many of them are victims of human trafficking.
Despite ourselves that, look, most of those children you see, in our streets are actually victims of, child trafficking. Those issues came to the fore.
Also in this bulletin, some Ghanaians welcome proposal by CEO of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management Ghana to extend the weekend to include Mondays and Fridays, a move he says will stimulate productivity.
A few Sundays are too short, so if they add Monday to it, it will be perfect.
For the Monday and Friday, we can't weekend, it's too much.
On Mondays, you feel very tired, so you have to relax for that day.
It's going to be a headache for especially the HRs to look at.
Well, we have details of these and more with me, Maame, Nyamekye, Thompson. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. Please stay. Well, this afternoon, communities in the Western and Ashanti regions are facing looming danger as illegal mining activities encroach on critical gas pipelines. Gensel Energy has identified at least 15 high-risk sites where Galamsey operations are cutting communication cables and threatening the integrity of pipelines. With Ghana already struggling to meet daily peak gas demand, the situation could cripple national energy supply and trigger widespread power shortages. Vice President of Operations at Gensel Energy, Henry Abeko-Pon, revealed that the threat was uncovered by a monitoring team in Galamsey-prone areas housing key national gas infrastructure.
We've identified several prone areas. We have more than 50 communities we've identified as Galamsey-prone areas where the activities normally interrupt or cut our communication cables. We've actually identified all of these communities where we've intensified surveillance, monitoring systems. There are a lot of areas in the western region. Galamseys are very active in the western region. Our pipeline, western region, Forestry region, these areas are areas we are battling. Some of these operations are very harmful to the operations of the pipeline and can become real threats to the community.
The pressure in the pipelines is high. It's 100 bar. It's more sharper than even knife, So it's actually a situation where I believe that no one can get, in those deliberate positions to harm the pipeline.
Well, Mr. Opon noted that surveillance and monitoring have been intensified.
We have a lot of community youth we've employed to monitor the safety of the pipelines
and working assiduously to ensure the communities are well sensitized to understand that. So we work with the communities effectively to ensure that they accept that their operations these levels of operations could harm and become a threat to the safety of the communities.
My colleague Clinton Yeboah joins us from Kumasi and tells us more on this. Clinton, what do we know about these areas and how severe is the situation?
Well, Maame, Jensa did not specifically mention areas for security reasons and also for their monitoring purposes. But it's important that we know that Jensa has pipelines running through Pristia, Takwa, Damai, Wasa, and Chirano. And these pipeline route towns, locations, we can say along their corridors, Galamsey and operations are actively going on and have been reported. I mean, just 5 months ago, we reported Chinese and illegal miners who have invaded over 200 acres of stretch of land in Duma Forest, which is located in the Wasa West District. And so these very much known areas of Galamsey, we can say, have extended dangerously close to the buried gas pipelines of Jensa.
All right, Clinton, but do we know what Jensa is doing about this to at least prevent the danger?
Well, what Jensa says is that the pressure from their gas pipelines itself is very dangerous, that people cannot intentionally harm it because it can be catastrophic. So what they are doing is organizing community sensitization programs, and we also have observed that they have their staff on grounds who are monitoring their pipelines regularly, whilst also engaging community leaders on the importance of keeping these pipelines safe and also the activities of illegal mining away from the pipelines, as they can be very, very dangerous, not just to the people who are involved in the Galamsey activities, but also to the whole community and communities even around.
All right, Clinton, thank you very much for that update. Clinton Yeboah reporting to us from Kumasi in the Ashanti region. Moving on, the Cybersecurity Authority is struggling with a high attrition rate, with many of its skilled staff leaving due to what has been described as unattractive remuneration packages. Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Divine Selassie Agbeti, disclosed that low salaries remain a major factor undermining staff retention. He revealed that the challenge is not limited to junior staff but extends to top management, including himself. He spoke at the ongoing Parliament's Public Accounts hearing into infractions identified by the Auditor General.
Even me, my salary is not good. I don't even know how much I'm taking yet. Thank you. Cybersecurity is a highly demanding profession currently, and our staff keep leaving us because once they attain the experience level, normally 4 or 5 years, and the certification levels, they don't even stay in the country, they go. I mean, they are needed in United Kingdom, across Europe and the Americas. So it's very difficult for us, and those of them who don't get the opportunity to even go outside the country, the private sector is paying them times 4, times 5, even times 8 of the salary we pay them. I've also met with the Select Committee, and I pleaded with them to help us, maybe have some sort of incentives for them to be able to stay. One of the ways we try to keep them in a system is when we pay for a course, then you are bonded. But then for how long can we keep doing that? I think the profession as a whole needs to be looked at as a specialized role.
So what's the best way out of this situation? Listen to Cybersecurity Authority CEO Divine Selassie Agbeti once again, and the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, Abner Sayasari.
The truth is that everything is cyber right now. Even warfare, we don't have conventional warfare. Everything is on systems. So someone can do anything at any time. So we are pleading with yourselves to support the authority in any way to beef up the salary and any form of incentives for the authority. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, with this, once you're in the public sector, it's the public sector that pays you, you are bound to be on the single spine salary structure. So what our advice is that you engage the Minister for Finance and advise if they can come up with a policy relating to the cyber security and the nature of these things now, and see how best they can come up with a policy that suits and comes up with a package for people in that area. And I believe that will help. But once you're on the public sector wage, it is a single spine salary structure, irrespective of the skills that you hold.
Well, let's go to Parliament now. My colleague James Avaji is there for us and joins us with more. James, which other issues came up at the committee?
Former National Information Technology Agency, NITA, as well as the Ministry for Lands have all been sitting for the committee. In the case of NITA, there were two infractions. It looks like the head of finance for NITA has failed to retrieve monies they were supposed to retrieve from other government agencies, as well as their mother ministry, the Ministry of Communications. In one instance, in a contract signed between NITA and the Ghana Gov platform, they were supposed to retrieve some 12% of all revenue generated, which the report indicated that only 7% of that revenue have been retrieved. Finance Minister the finance NITA have been arrested for failing to retrieve the rest of the money. He has not been present to answer questions, and so the committee suspended their engagement to summoning the finance manager to appear before them and answer questions on that. The Ministry of Lands actually spent less than 5 minutes before the committee on what you may call some minor infractions, and so the committee is on break now. When they return, they expect to hear from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Gender and Social Protection, as well as the Office of Head of Civil Services. All three will be appearing before the committee when they come back from the break at 2 o'clock.
Right, thank you so much, James Avaji, monitoring proceedings at the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. Now, project lead for the Pokuase-Sunyani Road, Abdullahi Mahama, has directed all mechanics who have set up ad hoc shops on the stretch to vacate. He's also asked vehicle owners whose vehicles are parked along the stretch due to breakdowns to immediately remove them or have the MTTD tow them away. This comes as construction of the deplorable road has resumed after months of no work. Joy News' Michael Ashale, who returned to the area, says commuters, business owners and residents who had grown weary of the road's deplorable state are relieved to see the contractor, Maripoma Enterprise Limited, back on site.
Just days ago, drivers had to carefully navigate the gaping potholes along this stretch.
But today, the experience is much different. That is only because the contractors, Maripoma Enterprise Limited, is currently on site.
As of December 2024, although more than 70% of the work had been done, government had released only 20% of the $340 million needed for the project. Now, an additional $30 million has been paid. At Satellite Junction, the once muddy pool is gone. Laterite is taking its place.
We are suffering. Just a very small downpour. We can't come out. The road become very flooded.
The road is bad. I am happy the contractor is back.
Earlier, drivers threatened to stage a protest over the deplorable state of the road. With works resuming, some drivers say there may be no need for that anymore.
It gives me joy to see that the contractor is back here.
For many road users, the expectation is simple. This time, the contractor must stay on site and finish the work once and for all. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
Well, we can hear now from the project lead, Engineer Mahama, is working assiduously to make up for the lost time due to the stagnation. He adds all impediments which will affect smooth operations will be removed, and that includes the mechanics and abandoned vehicles.
The contractor is just trying to work in accordance with the specification that has been given, and the contractor would not rely on us to just make sure that he works in accordance with the drawing and finish on time for the motorists and residents or businesses along the stretch. One other thing we have to take into consideration is that there are some broken down vehicles not actually within the distressed areas. Abandoned cars on the road have taken weeks to be moved. And so we also use this opportunity to tell motorists or owners of vehicles which are abandoned on the road. We may be involving the MTTD or MTTU to come and help if the owners of such vehicles do not show up to take their vehicles out of the plane. In fact, there was an area yesterday where we could have improved so much better if those cars, trucks were not actually abandoned over those areas for some time now. Another thing that we have noted is the broken down vehicles that mechanics and the owners decide that they want to work there and then on the road. It's not a very good practice. You cannot have your cars being worked on the stretch of the road when in fact it's actually causing a lot of traffic. And I'm just get the cars out of the place so that the contractor can push those areas and finish on time.
Engineer Abdullah Mahama spoke on Joy News Desk. Meanwhile, the GPRTU and GRTCC, which planned a protest slated for Wednesday if their plea for the road to be fixed was not heeded to, have noted they are excited about the resumption of work.
We don't want a situation where they will say, because of the pressure we gave them, that is why they just gone to the site to commence work. Then some few days they just leave the site again. So we just want to monitor from today, tomorrow. Then we will decide whether we have to call off the site or we continue with that. Because earlier, that was what happened. They were there working. We didn't know the reason why all the contractors left the place. All their machines were also parked. So it will happen the same time again. So that is why we are saying we are watching them to see if work will be going on. All that we need is for the road to be motorable. That is all.
I mean, the state has a guarantee. So definitely the money will be paid. To have a negotiation, a way to negotiate to keep the job going. Because the way it stands now, if you come and explain to me that we have paid so much percent, we have paid so much, that's why the road is not going. The citizen doesn't know whatever negotiating that the government has done. All that we need is that we have a road that we can move on.
Well, still on roads, earlier this year, the Ghana Immigration Service launched a swoop on the streets of Accra, rounding up dozens, mostly undocumented immigrants, and deported them to their home countries. The exercise was hailed as a significant step toward restoring order to the city's streets. But months on, the story has taken a familiar turn. The beggars are back on the streets, pavements, and under bridges. Rodalyn Abense has more in this report read to you.
From Obechebi-Lamte through La Paz and 37th Station, adults and young children can be seen back on Accra's streets, pavements and under bridges. These Nigerians were sent to their country, but they are back, posing a great inconvenience to both pedestrians and drivers alike.
These Nigerians were deported to their home countries, but they are back in Ghana. It's common to see children as young as 1, 2 or 3 years crossing the road indiscriminately, resulting in accidents.
Some beggars dodged during the swoop, hence were not deported by the immigration officials.
The government deported them, but they have found their way back in. Officials stationed at various borders must stop taking bribes from them at entry points.
This issue is a very sad one. Some of the beggars dodged the swoop carried out by the immigration officers, so they were not deported. The problem is they make here very dirty.
Whether as a nuisance, how effective are deportations, and for how long will Accra streets be home to them? For Joy News, Rodalyn Abense's report, read to you.
Meanwhile, Chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, James Agalga, says the resurgence of street beggars in the capital is alarming and points to the work of organised trafficking networks. He spoke on the AM show.
Can they be described as refugees? So we satisfied ourselves that, look, most of those children you see, in our streets are actually victims of, child trafficking. Those issues came to the fore. They are trafficked from various countries brought into this country to beg, and at the end of the day, those who brought them in become beneficiary to, the criminal act of child trafficking. So, I mean, we insisted that, okay, if you have to repatriate them, you must liaise with the UNHCR, the Ghana Refugee Board, to ensure that those who meet the criteria and can be treated as refugees are treated as such, whilst those who are victims of child trafficking are rescued and maybe reunited with their families abroad. So the process must continue to ensure that the children whose rights are abused, because if you engage in child trafficking and pour them onto the streets, I mean, it's a major violation of their fundamental human rights.
Okay.
I mean, it's criminal conduct, and those who are behind that practice ought to be arrested and prosecuted.
James Agaga is chair of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a break. We'll return. Some Ghanaians welcome proposal by CEO of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management Ghana to extend the weekend to include Mondays and Fridays. A move, he says, will stimulate productivity.
I feel Sundays are too short, so if they add Monday to it, it should be perfect.
For the Monday, the Friday, weekend, is too much.
On Mondays, you feel very tired, so you have to relax for that day.
It's going to be a headache for especially the HRs to look at.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a petrol source station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
When I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth with Kale Charcoal toothpaste. This gives me confidence all day.
Anytime you meet Amma, don't be surprised I smile showing my beautiful white teeth because I don't have cavity thanks to Kale Charcoal toothpaste for its natural charcoal properties. In fact, we are like twins. I can't go without my Kale Charcoal toothpaste.
That be why I dey use Kale Charcoal toothpaste morning and night when I dey go bed safe. It dey make my teeth white when it dey comot every scent from my mouth inside. My confidence level they go up, so I dey show my 32 teeth all.
Introducing the Kale Charcoal toothpaste, formulated with activated bamboo charcoal powder, ensures whiter teeth and removes bad breath. The strong natural property of the activated bamboo charcoal removes bacteria, absorbs surface stains on our teeth caused by coffee, wines, and tobacco. Welcome, Kale Charcoal toothpaste. Kale Charcoal toothpaste, Sankofa Yenchi.
Kale, happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Junior, your school bus will soon get here. Hurry up.
Mommy, my head is aching me and I'm feeling cold. Honey, Junior's temperature is too high and he feels feverish.
Oh, baby. So you didn't give him the Encamol paracetamol syrup that I gave you the last time?
Oh, no, I forgot.
Okay, you know what? It's not too late. Just give him Encamol and he'll be fine in no time. Encamol paracetamol syrup, a strawberry-flavored paracetamol syrup, and it's specially made for children aged 3 months to 12 years. It helps manage pain like headaches, teething pain, and fever. And guess what? Because of the strawberry flavor, the kids enjoy taking it.
I can tell from the way he's licking his lips. And look at how he's dumping around. Hurry up and go to school, Junior.
Yes, now you can get Encamol paracetamol syrup in all pharmacy shops. For bulk purchase, go to NK Pharma Head Office, Abelinkwe, or call 050-658-8315. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to the Midday News. Now, Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, Dr. Hugh Brown, is courting the support of the church in the protection of the forest. He believes the fight against illegal mining can be won when the church speaks out against negative practices. There's more in the following report.
Forestry Commission is entrusted with and manages forest reserves and wildlife parks. This represents about 15% of Ghana's land area of 238,540 square kilometers. Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, Dr. Hugh Brown, says managing Ghana's forest resources requires concerted efforts. He says it is only when stakeholders, especially the church, which has divine responsibility to be faithful stewards of God's creation, play their roles well in support of efforts by the Forestry Commission, that optimal results will be achieved.
The forestry profession is the first job that was created on this earth because God created the earth and handed it over to man and asked us to be stewards, very good stewards of these resources. And the Forestry Commission, as I indicated, have been mandated to protect 15% of this entire landscape of Ghana. We have been overwhelmed by illegal activities, illegal farming, illegal felling of trees and illegal mining. And we have spoken and told the whole country that we cannot do it alone. We need support of every stakeholder in this country. And for the church, because we are supposed to be good stewards, we are supposed to reach out to the Forestry Commission like we did during the Tree for Life Restoration Initiative.
Well, let's go to the police headquarters now, where IGP is meeting with political parties on the upcoming Akwatia by-election, and Kenneth Jesse is there for us. Kenneth, what more can you tell us?
Well, so that meeting just concluded between the IGP political parties and also the Electoral Commission. Now, the Electoral Commission has made us aware that they're going to begin the printing of the ballot papers tomorrow, Wednesday, the 20th of August. Now, the representatives of the MPP and NDC have all raised a concern, particularly with the New Patriotic Party. They say that the police has not made available the individuals they claim to have arrested during the Ablekuma North election disturbances. And they say that although the police has given them the assurance that they're going to offer them protection, if the perpetrators are not brought to book and made public, they will advise themselves and protect themselves while they go there. Well, the NDC say that they are satisfied with the meeting that happened here. The police has assured them that they will provide maximum security, and that is something that they are delighted to have heard from the Ghana Police Service. Well, the Ghana Police Service has not officially communicated anything to us, but the parties that were involved in this particular meeting have shared their opinions, and that's what I just mentioned.
Right, thank you so much, Kenneth Jesse, for that update. Let's do some sports now. GFA President Kato Kriku is calling on police ladies to embody the true Ghanaian spirit as they head into the 2025 CAF Women's Champions League qualifiers in Cote d'Ivoire. Drawn in Group A, police ladies face Nigeria's Bayelsa Queens, ASK of Togo, and Benin's Samnali. The tournament runs from August 23 to September 5.
The opposition that will confront you in Cote d'Ivoire are not necessarily better than you are. The maximum they could claim is that they are also champions in their countries. But we are Ghana, and Ghana is Ghana. When it comes to football, whether boys or girls, we are Ghana. Therefore, we should go out of this country with all the confidence that we have the quality as technical men, we have the quality in management, and we have the quality as players on the pitch. You have a very strong technical team here, full of brains and full of experience. I watch the training and I can see quality.
Away from sports, some Ghanaians have welcomed recommendations by CEO of Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management Ghana for Mondays and Fridays to be added to the weekend days. According to Dr. Francis Eduko, the proposal for the longer weekends mean workers will be granted off days on Mondays and Fridays, a move he argues will boost productivities.
Studies have shown that the best way to get a lot from your employees is to make sure, even within the normal 5 working days, is to make sure you give them 2 days off within that normal 5 working days. So effectively, workers are productive.
Well, we've been speaking to some workers on this. While they welcome the proposal, they believe an additional day will be better than having 2 extra days.
It's not a bad idea, though. I mean, looking at how people go through the weekend, it might be good so that when the person comes back to work, the person will work with full capacity of, energy and all that. So I think it's not going to be a bad idea. It's better to have someone working 100% energy and effort than to have the person working but 0 if that is going to make the workers more active, I think that is better.
I think that is a very good idea because few Sundays are too short. So if they add Monday to it, to be perfect. And Fridays is also a good idea. It gives you enough time to rest and then recover for the next week. So I think it's a good idea.
The conversation is kind of dicey and it's going to be a headache for especially the HRs to look at. And it should be selective. It shouldn't be for everyone because anything you do, productivity has to count. The company has to make money.
We have 7 days in a week. So, the Monday, the Friday, we can't weekend, is too much. Productivity now more can. I don't think that we can do that production. So, I think Friday and get better. So, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like 3.
Well, let's now do what's trending. Adobia Sari has been gone for so long and finally back. Adobia, what's trending?
Maame, the first thing trending here in Ghana is shatter. Hashtag shatter. Unfortunately, shatter has come under some kind of heat. You know, his people, some of his people and people who are against him are talking so much because he's having some sort of beef with music producer Emoji.
Okay.
Emoji claims Shatter stole his beats. Shatter said, there's a lot going on. And honestly, these are comments I cannot read, but I just want the people to know that that's what's going on in the trend.
We hope they resolve their issues, but that's how we end this afternoon's bulletin here on Joe 99.7 FM. I am Maame Nyamekye Thompson. Up next is Living Word with Pastor Mensa.